All right, fellas. Kings of Monaco back at you with a couple of special guests today. We're going to have some fun. Yeah. Hey, we got some amazing topics before I introduce everybody. Lebo, what do we got on the topic board, on your dry erase board? We have special guests. Preachas in the hood. Let's go.
Yeah.
This is like one for, like, this is going to, there we go. Let it go. Let it go. Yeah. This one is a long time coming. It's going to live on YouTube now. So it's going to be amazing. So we're going to collaborate. We're going to catch up a little bit, have some memories, share some memories. And then we're going to talk about some old man hobbies. So that's going to be a ton of fun because we're all over 50 except for Flo, right? And am I right on that age? We're all over 50? All right, cool. Because I've got all the white even before I turned 50. So I just want to make sure, man. And then we're going to go.
I didn't know Lebo was over 50, but yeah.
Hey,
okay.
Yeah. Dude, Flo, you're not over 50 yet, are you?
No, that's why I said, am I right?
He's the baby.
Flo.
I'm the baby here.
Oh, okay.
All right. And then we're going to do tape wars. I mean, I know Lebo doesn't know how to spell, but
No, it's spelled on purpose like that.
I know. Dude, come on. All right.
So is it pronounced like, tape?
Wars?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Okay. Look, it's spelled.
I thought it said tapeworms.
Dude. Tapeworms. You
grew up in the ghetto, so
yeah, I know. Everybody got it
with
except
everything.
for Lebo. Everybody understood where I was going with that except for Lebo. All right. Anyway, tape wars. If you don't know what tape wars are, you got to hang out because Lebo is going to explain it to you. It was one of the greatest things we used to do growing up as kids to kind of punk each other, diss each other, all that stuff. It's a ton of fun. But hey, Agent Flo, what's up, man?
What's up? What's up?
What up?
What up?
Hey,
Oh, he doesn't get any
up on stage.
confetti. Just me.
Yeah, that's okay.
Hey, we've
got
known you
golden
guys
buzzer.
forever, and we're gonna jump right in. Age, how you doing, man? Where you at? How you doing?
Good, man.
Catch
Good.
us up, man.
No, hanging out here in San Diego, man. It's beautiful. Beautiful weather, beautiful life. Yeah, great.
You've been
Doing
out there
well,
for
man.
how long now?
It's at least 8 years now. At least
8
8
years.
Yeah, since 2016.
Okay.
Dude, I need to
so-
ask you, bro, because I've never asked you this in person or ever at all. What inspired the look? Like, you've changed so much since we saw you last in Colorado. Just the way you look. What inspired it?
Oh, I think just growing in the beard, you know. Yeah, it's a long time coming. Actually, it's short. I had it down to, I cut 6 inches off of it. So.
Oh, dang.
But yeah,
Look
no,
what you did.
I got into motorcycle riding, Harley Davidsons, and just started growing in a beard, man. I thought, you know what? I seen it. I'm gonna try it, and I did it. And this is where I'm at now.
That's
Nice,
cool, man.
Nice.
That's it.
Looks good.
Does it take some work to keep it looking good like that?
This one, nah, not too much. Just combing it every day. Obviously, you want to comb it, you know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it looks like a face full of pubes, you know. You don't want that, you know. Some guys
No,
grow
you
them out,
don't want that.
Some guys grow them out, and it's horrible. You know, it's like, well, this
Or
guy
maybe
comes
you
from
do. I don't
Charlie
know.
Brown.
Maybe you do want a face full of pubes. I don't know.
Wow, I didn't see that one coming.
Your
Yeah.
buddy's like, I just saw that this morning.
Yeah, so when I had it 6 inches longer, I would comb it out, blow dry it, because I didn't want the curly look. I wanted the straight look. So,
Gotcha.
you know,
All
kind of
right.
formed that way. But yeah, that's
You got hair on top up here, bro, still?
no, it's gone.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah. But I got that cul-de-sac look. If I grow it in, it looks like a donut sitting
Yeah.
on top of my head.
You got
No,
4 out of-
airplane pillow, because
Yeah.
a donut would fill in.
Yeah.
That's me
some
too.
Some guys out here go get tattoos, and it looks like real hair, but it's really a tattoo. So
It doesn't look like real hair.
And then it's green hair pretty soon.
Yeah, it's
I don't
like
know.
too perfect. It's like all perfect.
There's some
Yeah.
pretty good hair artists out here, I guess. I don't know.
They have
But
those.
it's a little bit different out here.
Right
They
on,
have
man.
those things where they do implants now, though. Like, they actually insert the hair and all that stuff, though, right? Like, it's probably expensive.
Oh,
They do
yeah.
have that now.
expensive and painful. I'm probably.
Then they look like an abused Barbie doll.
A chia pet, you know.
Oh my god.
Dude,
Yeah, no, it came from inspiration of like the motorcycle culture. You know, I got into riding motorcycles, and yeah, it just kind of grew on me. So
was that something that you was introduced to you there, or is it something maybe before you moved out?
something before I moved out. Yeah, it
Okay.
was before I moved out. Yeah.
Gotcha. Right on, man. That's sweet. That's sweet. Tell us a story, a motorcycle story that is just one for the ages. Tell us something. Age.
Well, hey, one for the ages, no pun intended, right?
Right.
That's a good one. Hold
Flo,
on,
is that you, Flo, doing that? Okay,
Yeah.
keep it doing. Keep it going. I mean, not keep it going, but do it when it's appropriate. You know.
So,
what I mean?
so
Right.
before
as many of those in as we can.
I'll be the producer today.
Yes, sir.
Keep it flowing.
yeah,
Keep
so
it
that was
flowing.
another one. Hey, where is it? Come on,
Keep it flowing.
you failed. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you might get
missed that
that,
one,
Lebo.
So, Age, before you got on, we said how many times we could implement Age or Flow in the conversation. So, there's two.
There you go. Well, Flo, chime in, buddy. Come on, man. Anyway, are you wanting a sad story, a happy story?
No, we
what kind of story?
want.
There's plenty of stories. There's
Yeah.
plenty of
Let me
stories in
tell
the
you what kind of
cycle.
story. Let me tell you what kind of story is going to be amazing. I want to hear a story that captures your essence, the essence of age, right? Nothing says age like road rage. Was there anything or any situations, Age, where you like were on your bike and you got road rage? And you're like, tell us that story.
Age.
Okay, Road Rage by Age, the series #1 here. There has been a couple of times. One time I was at the lights. We lane split here, so it kind of gets a little nuts. But I lane split, went to the front of the light, waited there. The light turned green, and I gunned it. I hit the throttle, full throttle, opened up, and went. And the car cut right in front of me. Was cut right in front of me, and I almost hit him, man. I had to take that bike and turn it sideways, and I tell you what, man, my temper kind of switched up a notch, and I took off on my bike. I chased that truck down. I caught up to him, and I was going to tell him something, and at that moment, a car came out of nowhere, flying down the street, basically ran the truck off to the side of the road. I'm tripping out like, wait a minute here. I thought I was just going to say something to this guy. Guy turns around, gets out of his car, and starts yelling at these guys that cut me off. So I'm like, well, okay then. So I turned around and went back the other way on my way. And that guy in the car caught up to me, came flying up to me. And I said, oh, great. Let's see what's going on. Caught up to me, and he rolls his window down and he says, hey, man, I ride with Sober Souls, Biker MC, and I'm a biker, man. What they did to you was not cool, man. And he was just going off. I was like, right on, dude. Right on, dude. You just basically like took the words out of my mouth for me. I didn't have to do it, you know?
I mean, let's be honest, that whole temper thing.
Oh, I mean, man, I was mad. I'll be honest, I was mad.
I think anybody would be, man. Justifiably so.
I was, you know, what are you doing? Are you stupid or what? I mean, come on, really?
No,
I have an awesome Age temper story. Can I share it real quick?
Sure.
So we were traveling. It was me, another friend of ours that I'm sure a lot of people know, so I won't say his name. And we were like, I think we're on our way to Idaho.
Robert.
And we stopped at a gas station. And you know, we were sent by the Lord to go and share the gospel with the good people of Caldwell, Idaho. I think it was Caldwell. And we stopped at a gas station nearby, and there was another man at the counter doing something, and he was really just being really rude to the cashier. And Age, myself, and our other friend were there at the counter, and out of nowhere, Age looks at this guy, the guy that's not with us, and he's like, "You're rude," like up in his face. Do you remember that, Age? He's like, "You're rude." And that guy was like, "Take it back." And then our other friend starts to chime in. "Yeah, man, you're stupid. You're rude." So Age is on one side, our other friend is on the other side, and they're like verbally assaulting this guy, calling him names and rude. I literally thought we were going to get into a fight on our way to a gospel concert. It was awesome. It's one of my favorite times on the road, man. That was hilarious, dude.
Carlos was like, "Oh, I think I forgot my Pepsi in the back."
I'm out. Now you were going to perform, or you were going to a concert?
We were going to perform. Yeah, we were. It wasn't a tour, but we did have some dates out there, and it was pretty hilarious, man. So, Age, shout out to you, bro, for standing up for the downtrodden, for the people that are marginalized in gas stations everywhere. You're a hero.
Well, I trying to be, you know, that's what our goal is, right? To be heroes in life, you know. So yeah. Don't be rude to my friends, you know.
Dude, that's one of my pet peeves though, when people are disrespectful or rude. Like, it's hard for me not to say something. So I'm like, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, it's tough. You got to bite your lip or your tongue or whatever they call it, whatever it is. You got to bite, because if not, you'll be biting them. Like, you know.
For sure.
But yeah, no, there's just a lot of fun stories on the bike. You know?
Nice.
The ride, you get to see God's amazing creation.
Yeah.
You also get to see, you know, you have a blast, you know, especially here on the West Coast. You know, you go up and down that coastline and the ocean, the water. You know, I'm 10 minutes. I'm on a bike ride. I'm at the ocean. You know,
nice.
So it's good.
Yeah, I wouldn't bite your lip and look at them, because then he might think you're hitting on him, because he's like,
you know, San Diego. Oh no, that's San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
Okay, wait, my bad. Okay,
bite your bottom lip.
Yeah. This guy, what song does this guy have in his head looking at me?
Oh my god.
Hey,
can we like just state the obvious, because this has been a long time coming, you know, for us, like Vince's intro song for On to the Next, right? But can we just state the obvious? Like, we know each other from way back, right? Growing up in Commerce City, and I think most people who may listen to this remember that we were the pioneers of Christian hip hop and pop music out of Denver. Like, when growing up, we basically laid the foundation for what happened. Like, we were so, in my opinion, and you know, let's talk about it. We were ahead of the game, if you will, in a lot of ways, which in some ways I feel like hurt us, meaning that the Christian industry wasn't ready for what we were doing yet. And then years later, it was more ready, like, and it was more accepting. But I feel like, you know, and I'm not in any way, like, I know we're all humble. We all, you know, live our lives right now, but I think credits should be due, right? I mean, what do you guys think? I mean,
Flowers?
I want to say something, because you're to give you guys props of where you guys were, your music was, and it was really simplistic. There was a simplicity to your guys' music, but dude, do you guys ever listen to like Kendrick Lamar stuff now? And you're like, man, there's elements of what we're doing, like the heavy piano bass stuff of what he's doing. I can hear it in what you guys did at that time. And I'm like, man, these guys were ahead of their curve with the music even that they were doing. So props to you guys, man, for kind of like, you know, you guys were at the forefront of like doing some of this production stuff. So yeah, props to you guys, because like I said, when it was Kendrick Lamar that really started doing that with that heavy piano bass stuff that you guys used to do, that I used to hear in production of you guys. Now I hear it there, and I'm like, man, this was already done. You know, my boys Preachas were already hooking this style up.
Well,
so
and you bring up a good point. Like, we were both self-produced. It wasn't you know, somebody writing lyrics, other people making the music. Like, both of our bands, you know, our groups, if you will, Preachers in the Hood, God's New Creation, later Candle, we wrote our own music and we produced our own music. I mean, and we mixed our own music, and we mastered our own music, and we it was like all of the above, like multi.
That was one reason why we loved Grape Tree, because they allowed us to also.
Yeah.
And we were groups on their roster that we were the only ones that were able to do that. The other groups had to use their producers.
And I didn't know that. So none of the other bands or groups they all had producers.
No, they used, remember the guy who was lent us his equipment because he was a producer, but they're like, you could use him or you could just do your own. And do you remember when we went and recorded?
Yeah,
in
now
Boston,
that you're saying that, I remember
there was a guy out there, and we're like, no, we got it, we got this. But
so
we didn't want to sound.
So you guys have probably told this story many times about how you guys started, how you were inspired to start in gospel rap. But why don't you share with our audience, the beginnings of your gospel rap ministry, the journey, what inspired it, and then share with us something that you've never said before about that journey, right? Give us an exclusive today.
Go ahead, Flo.
First, I'm Flo, so I'm Age. I think Age is over there. Over here.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah, you're pointing the right way.
He's my older brother, so we're brothers. And at first, it's awesome to be back. Thanks for having me back. I had my intro on episode 13, so I was on that episode.
Lucky 13.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those lucky 13s out here.
Yeah.
From the
Sued.
Age could get more into what he was into back then, if you want to. Right when we started.
I can share a little bit about that. I was in jail actually when this idea came out. I got out of jail, and my younger brother Flo was there picking me up, and we had an encounter. I said, "Look, man, I don't want to mess around with the gang life anymore. I just want to tell people about God." And about that same time, Flo had been talking with Carlos, and Carlos had been influencing Flo.
So yeah, it was about that time. Carlos and my sister were I don't know if you were in the same grade or just same class or however it worked out.
Now this is exclusive.
This is the exclusive. You guys went to school together, you and my sister. And she had approached you, Carlos, and wanted you to influence me. She knew you were serving God and you had the rap group going on, and she knew that I was rapping with my friends and was into that lifestyle and getting into gangs and all that. So she wanted you to come and talk to me and influence me and into the right way, and that's where our friendship started. So it was
awesome. So your sister and I knew each other from if I'm not mistaken, from band. And I want to say that we went on a trip, one of those band trips, and we got to know each other a lot better. You're spending a lot of time with the people that you're traveling with. And that's when she shared with me about you. Of course, we knew Age because he was in high school with us, but we hadn't met you because you were younger than we were. Right. And so your sister started telling me about you, your influences, and it was a God thing, right? That God really just put us all together, and we were able to inspire one another. But go ahead.
And we like clicked right away. It wasn't like you rolled up and I was like, who's this fool?
I just want to put some time on that though. This is years ago. This is in the early 90s, right? I mean, we're talking
early
long
90s,
time ago.
Yeah.
I was.
Oh, this was back in school, guys. These are school days. We're 50-year-old men, and we're talking high school, junior high.
And I was probably 11, 12, maybe 12 years old. At the oldest at this point.
So fast forward the story just a little bit more. Where did music start? Like are we missing too much to be able to go for it? Go for it. You share. Share.
So I always flowed with my friends. We would make little mixtapes with Dr. Dre, and we'd figure out how to make instrumentals off their music and rap nothing but a G thing and rap all kinds of different music, the old school NWA, the old straight out of Compton stuff,
all the clean stuff.
Oh yeah. And
I was clean back then, you know.
It was normal. I mean, it was
Yeah.
normal.
I was clean compared to nowadays. But go ahead.
So
Mustard.
when
That's what Flo would say. We would be in the studio and I'd mess up. He'd go, mustard.
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 Kendrick Lamar, you know, he was pre his
Oh.
time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
with a bass piano in the background.
Yep.
No, so when Carlos started hanging out with me, here's another exclusive. He had a bunch of CDs that were burned in his house fire. I think you guys talked about your house fire before. Some of them played all the way through. Some of them only half played because they were, half melted.
Toasty.
Or smoke damage.
It was like PID. It was all these old school Christian gospel rap albums, CDs. And I just started jamming. I just started listening to them. I always heard like the old school DC talk, heaven bound stuff, and the Michael Peace. I've heard, I used to listen to him when I was younger, and
set the record straight, Float. So when we had Peter Daly on, another childhood friend, I had thought that I had gone to the DC Talk concert with him. Actually, was not with him, was it?
No, I was actually watching that. I was watching that episode. I was like,
That was me. That was me.
That was my parents that bought you your ticket for that show because I needed a ride to it. So,
That's messed up, man. Messed up.
It doesn't surprise me though that
Sure,
Carlos
buy him a ticket so he'll take you.
Carlos thought he did a lot of things
Yes,
that never happened. So
Yeah.
It's okay.
That's true. That's very true.
Carlos thought, man, I'm really genuinely valued here, and yet I just needed.
but
a
it
ride.
wasn't. Yeah, we didn't value it.
so it was quite a number of years later when I was already serving God and in the ministry and stuff. And Carlos came back. Hey, do you have my CDs I gave you? I loaned you. Yeah, I want them back, man. Those are all my CDs that were.
Oh, bro, he asked for the CDs back. Nah,
Yeah.
real. Yeah, that's a Carlos thing.
Yo,
Dude, it was a lot of CDs, bro.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe I should do to you like you did to him and ask for my coat back, my blazer
Sucker,
back.
you never getting that coat back.
He was an indigenous person giver.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So anyway, through the help with the influence of Carlos and I just decided to give my life to God, right? Make the change wholeheartedly. We grew up in a Christian home, but that was at that point where I myself decided, to serve Christ. And I wanted to do something like what you guys were doing. I always wanted to get into rapping anyway. And so hey, this was a perfect setup. You guys sort of showed me the foundation of, well, it doesn't take that much to really get going. When you're young, you think you got to have this whole, studio setup or this whole huge thing, really, it doesn't take that much. So at that time, Age was talking about he was in jail, came out, talked to me about how he doesn't want to live the gang life anymore, doesn't want to do that. And it was like, well, that's crazy because you know what, I gave my life to Christ too, and I don't want to do that either. I want to start rapping. And then we were like, well, let's do this. Let's start rapping. Let's create a ministry to get people out of the road and the path that we were going to. We were getting into that. Age was a gang leader and whatnot in his past, and so we wanted to help people get out of that lifestyle and
Hey, so
know Jesus.
So check this out, guys. I have something because and it's always been on my mind because of the perception of the way people say if you're a Christian, you shouldn't look like the world. You should you should look a certain way, be a certain way. And you guys were not that. You guys, this is who we were as individuals. And I think the people who start making these rules, they don't understand what was placed. Kids from the inner city that are trying to just be their self and relate to the ones around them. you know. So did you guys ever get that, like any like blowback about the way you guys dressed, the way you guys looked as performers? Because I heard it a lot. Like even we heard it from some of the people at the church with us, like even doing rap or anything. But you guys were actually, I mean, because to be honest, you guys look like gangsters out there preaching God's word.
Well,
You know?
and let me
general,
preface
go
this
ahead.
with this.
Yeah.
Let me preface this with this, because we kind of later in the mid 90s, the seeker sensitive movement started, and that was one of the where churches were, oh, we accept everybody, we love everybody, come as you are. But we kind of like we never had to intentionally do that, like churches started doing later. You know what I'm saying? Like we were always who we were, regardless. So I love that question though. I just want to preface that, like, you know, we kind of were just always who we were.
Yeah, I think for us, you know, the following that we had was really into what we were doing, right? So that really didn't fade us. I think what the tension point was on this was when we roll up to a church and it was a very legalistic, traditional church that, you know, they were actually kind of shocked at the performers walking up looking the way we looked, because that wasn't the traditional way it happened, right? They're thinking totally the opposite. They're thinking, now we're cleaned up now, you know, we're going to show up in a suit and a tie with some nice slick, you know, Stacey Adams on, or what they were back then. You know, we showed up as we were, you know, we showed up who we were, the culture we were in, and that's what helped us, I think, relate to the people and help them to see, you know, that, you know, there's a way out. And it's you know, God, we always knew this, and everybody knows scripture, especially in the church, but God looks at the inward, not the outward, you know, and so we just roll with it. And I tell you what, there were times we would get thrown out of churches. There was a time we got searched. Flo tells a great story about that. I think he shared it on your last event, but we were searched at an event. They kicked us out, and we had to go through the security line. And I remember Flo and I always joking around. We're like, "Oh, Flo, you better go put your gun in the car. You know, you better go." So we're like, "We're here to minister, man." You know. And yeah, it was definitely a little tension point. You know, I remember traveling around, going to some places, but we always stood the ground. It was like, you know what, this is who we are. We really don't care. We'll just let God's. And at that time, it was like, we'll just let God's anointing show them what's up.
Yeah, that's how we
you
spoke.
guys. Because you guys are like, we're not here to minister to you, speaking to like the suit and ties. We're here to minister to them, like the ones who could relate to where we are, where we came from, you know, how we. So I always appreciated that about you guys, because you guys never been into like in that way. You knew what your mission was. You knew what you were like, what God set you to do. And
the people we drew. Flo, were you with us when we went to an event in the mountains and we got rear-ended? You were there, right? Did you end up making it when we got the back end of the truck smashed in?
No,
coming through the blizzard. Okay. No. You know, we would draw people in these events. We were in a church, and a guy come up to the stage at the end, want to give his life to Christ, and he's repeating the sinner's prayer, and he's dropping F-bombs right on the stage, and you can hear the ladies in the church and the people.
Actually, I was there. You know, I just wasn't there when you got rear-ended, but we went in a different ride.
You were at the church. That was an event we did, and at the end, we gave the gospel message. Someone came up. He walked all the way from the back, came up. He was toasted, man. He was high, drunk, whatever. But he came up, man. He wanted to pray, and sure enough, he was praying. While we had the mic, he was praying on the mic, and he was dropping F-bombs and this and that. Yeah, it was nuts, man. You know, and people didn't realize that those were the people we were ministering to, people that wouldn't walk into church, you know. But they're finally there, you know.
Age always had a way with words. We were at another event in New Mexico, and I remember we were praying for somebody. And, you know, listen, I don't want anybody watching this to think that this is shade on anybody, on anyone who identifies differently, right, than we do or whatever. But we were at this event, and this person that Age was praying for, Age couldn't tell if he was a she or if she was a he. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Let
So
Age
Age
tell the story.
starts,
Let Age
and
tell the
he's like,
story.
he starts and he's like, Lord, bless her, Lord, touch her life. And then I think somebody said his name is John or something like that. And then he switches it up and he's like, Lord, I pray that you bless him, God. I pray that you would give him all the blessings and the desires of his heart. And then I think he second guessed himself. He's like, bless them, Lord. I pray that you bless.
He was the originator of pronouns.
He's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
opening up
That's
his
where it started.
Age is opening up his eye like, I don't know.
Jeez.
I'm
I think today it'd be bless this LGBTG, HIJ. It's like you don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite sinner's prayers, that's for sure. He covered the
We-
gamut on one. He's like, Lord, bless her,
Yeah.
bless him. No, bless them, Lord.
Sometimes we literally would just hold our breaths on the side of the stage, behind stage, whatever, because okay, Age has the mic now. What's he about to say? It's
Wow.
just, you just never knew, man. You
Well,
just never
Carlos
knew.
was that for us. We just
Okay.
never knew what he was going to
He
say.
was just-
So you had one of those too, Flo.
Yes.
You had
Yeah.
one of those.
Yes.
Yeah. You were just like, oh my God, what is he
But
going to say right now?
I was over there on the mixer, like, do I need to lower his mic? Okay, guys, so let's moving on. Let's do this new song.
I appreciated that about you, man, though, because you were always real authentic in who you were, and that's the way you gave the word, and I think it related to a lot of people. So I appreciate you, man.
So here's what's cool, and this is what going back a little bit to what you said, Flo. Like you loved hip hop before God called you to it, right? And then I remember before we started writing music, we would write poems to girls. Like we would write, things that would try to rhyme and everything. So it's always cool to think about, like, God is always preparing you somehow in the background with things that you like to do to later use that for his glory, for his kingdom, which is super cool to think about.
Yeah.
So if anybody's listening, I mean, you're wondering what like you are called to do. Like, what do you love? What talent did God give you? What passion did he give you? I mean, how can you use that for him?
What gifts, talents, passions?
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the influence that we had in Denver, and then eventually like across the Christian hip hop, like music, in general, just the what word am I looking for? The industry.
Just across the spectrum, yeah.
Yeah, across the spectrum, because we're not here to toot our own horns, but I think of a lot of early artists, especially even artists today that, I feel like we laid some foundation, for people to keep going. But how do you guys see that? Like, do you feel the same way? Do you feel like we help shape that culture? I mean, you've got the early Stephen Wileys, the PIDs, the Dynamic Twins. You had all of those guys coming up, but then there was a generation of us, right?
I kind of feel like you guys and us were in like a third generation. We came after the T-Bones, the Gospel Gangsters. We were kind of like right in that same sector, coming out of the back end of those guys. And when you think about it, you look back at Colorado, definitely was put on the map by you guys and by us. I mean,
yeah,
you got to look at that. The awards, the awards that we were nominated for, the things that we were doing. Definitely put Colorado on the map. I think there's a lot that goes on in Colorado now, because I follow some of that. But I think some of that tradition and history has gotten lost a little.
Yeah.
But therefore, back in those days, man, it was like you guys and us.
Yeah, I mean, we were in. We had a full page ad in CCM magazine. You guys were nominated for a Dove Award. Like, there's like all of this stuff that happened. And Vince and I talked about this on the podcast that he and I recorded recently. And then there was some kind of gap, right? There was some, to your point, Age, like it got lost. And then all of a sudden, like a Lecrae surfaced, right? And then that started a whole maybe fourth generation. And then you have like podcasts like Ruslan, and we've probably all heard of him. And I was on his podcast before as a guest before he got super huge. And I talked to him about it. I'm like, did you ever hear about Fat Boy Records and what did you just say earlier? Grapetree, all of those, PID. He had no clue. And this is Ruslan, Mr. Hip Hop, and said they don't know anything about it. And it blew my mind that like you guys, and again, I love what God is doing with them. I love the whole podcasting and Lecrae's doing the deep end and he's doing his, podcast. All of that stuff is amazing, right? It's definitely reaching thousands, millions, but they don't know the roots, man. They really don't.
Yeah.
And
I think for you guys, and I give you guys props too, because you guys were like grassroots. You guys were on the scene before we even hit the scene. You guys were a step ahead. I think that as time went on, there was this whole history of hip hop thing that came out by some of the mainstream magazine or guys that were in the hip hop industry. I can't think of the name of that certain organization, Holy Hip Hop, maybe something like that. But they came out with a documentary, and they skipped a whole big piece of really the true core of it. And I think that a lot of that has been lost in the history. A lot of the Grapetree stuff has been lost in the history.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to say what they want to say and complain and gripe about what Grapetree was doing and how it was ran and that kind of stuff. But that's part of business, and that was something we had to learn, and we learned it. We learned it grassroots, man. Nobody taught us. We weren't born in a family full of artists and history of, record execs. We had to learn it ourselves, and lawyers.
I remember looking at our contract, and we were like charged for staples and paper and copies. Like if there was anything of value, it was charged so that we wouldn't get any royalties. It was wild, bro. It was wild. At least our contract.
But that's pretty standard across when you look at it. Most artists, at least back then, were making money off their merch sales and
publishing,
and publishing, doing concerts, live shows, and all that.
Yeah.
And I think it's still that way, but it's obviously a different industry now. But
and just to clarify for the audience, like we were both signed to labels, right, and nationally distributed,
major national labels. I remember going to, because I don't know if any of this ever got out, but as we continued on, I launched a label called God Style Records and released a few artists through that label. I had secured a distribution deal with Grapetree, and then went on to secure another distribution with another company. And
wasn't it Diamante? Something like that.
It was through a channel through Diamante.
Okay.
There was the CEO of that company though he was pretty shady. I would say it was pretty shady in a sense that I'm not judging his heart, but as far as his salvation goes, but his business ethic was horrible. But at the same tone, so the long story short with this guy, he had hundreds of titles under his belt, and he probably had an inventory of, I don't know, $3 million. And he had released 12 of my records, 12 of my artist records, and he probably owed me $500,000. Well, we get a phone call. All the record label execs that were with him get a phone call from his office manager, said that they showed up to work and everything was gone. He disappeared.
I remember that. Yeah.
And we come to find out that he had a stage 4 cancer, and he was running for his life. But that whole thing in itself was destructive in relationships. Because I had artists on my label who were now pissed off at me because of the same thing that I was going through, or feeling the same emotions with Grapetree, saying, hey, they're charging me for everything. Well, I didn't come to realize that's what happens until I had my own label, because who's going to pay for it, right? The label is, and it comes down to it comes down from the distribution company to the label. And so, but it is what it is on that, it's part of the business. And we all understand that now that we're older and we are business type of men,
Grapetree's back, right?
I didn't know that. Is it?
It's back.
But it's not under Nolly anymore, is it?
He's the head, but Little Rascal's the CEO.
Huh. Okay. So Nolly Williams and Little Rascal are resurrected it.
Yes.
Huh. Interesting.
But again, it's the same thing.
What's
again,
that?
Yeah,
it's,
business
again,
aside,
it's the same thing.
I think that the good and the impact that our groups had is undeniable, right? Regardless of the challenges that we each faced on the business front, I think the impact is undeniable. I'm thinking of, H, how you continue to move on, right? And founded the Mix Church, right? One of its first type hip hop church, right in the heart of the projects in Denver, Colorado. I mean, that impact will be felt for generations in the city, and it all started with Preachas Hood. It started with, Grape Tree Records, for better or worse. And, God is good that impact continues to be felt in the city.
Yeah, it's so cool, man. I mean, I feel like we could talk about this forever. Is there anything that we're leaving out? And I mean, there's a ton that we're leaving out. Was there anything that we could wrap up here? And we'll certainly do this again because there's too much.
I just want to give Flo props because we had been nominated for a Dove Award. That's huge in the Christian world. That's like grand.
Especially in the 90s, that was huge.
Yeah,
for sure.
And in the 90s, that was big, And I think you guys were nominated for something along those lines too, right? I know you were part of some with the Doves. I know you had. Did you guys have something with the Doves?
An honorary mention? Just kidding. I don't.
If I can, we'd have to look it up and do some research on it. But
in the contention potentially, but.
Yeah, no, Flo took that record that was nominated and he mixed that thing. And as young as he was and as knowledgeable he was in mixing an album and a record and just hours of studying what Dr. Dre's done and all these major artists. I mean, that guy, if you listen to some of our records and our CDs and you just listen for hidden sounds and you put on a stereo headphone and you just study that stuff. Flo was definitely amazing in his time for doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's why I said it was ahead of its time. Like his production style of what he brought, and the funny thing is, and Flo, you could probably, because being a producer myself, you were just like using what you had because we didn't have much. So you're like, I'm gonna do the best with what I have, and that's what you were doing, right?
Right. When we first started, we just bought a drum machine. We just looked in the newspaper and found someone selling a drum machine, and we found it and bought it. We didn't even know anything about drum machines. That thing didn't have bass drops. It was just like an old 1985 drum kit.
I think it saved 6 songs or something like that.
It had one drum sound on it, for the kit, and we didn't have any background music. We didn't have 808s. We didn't have any, keyboard sounds, nothing. We just went up there.
But we learned it quick and
with the drum machine,
and it definitely turned out to be good,
Yeah, we looked up the Yamaha RY30 the other day, and it's still the same price that we paid for it, 20 some years ago. It's still like $800, $700-800. That's what we paid for it. We did like car washes and all this crazy stuff to earn money from the church, and then buy that drum machine. But yeah, it's crazy. It's like vintage, same price.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I remember going to your first concert. I think it was your first concert at that church on 104th. I forget what it was called, but anyway, one of your very first concerts. I feel like
Crossroads.
Great.
Then it was Crossroads.
Crossroads.
Yep, on 104th and Huron.
Yep. That was fun. Getting to see that movement start, man. Congratulations to you both. You guys have an amazing legacy, man. It's dope.
We talked about it last time I was on, but I believe after that concert is pretty much what solidified you guys calling me Flo. Oh, it's Flo time. Dang. Dude's flowing.
Yep. It was flowing. Yep. We get credit for giving you that name, I guess, right?
Yep.
One of us. I don't know who it was, but that's super cool, man.
GNC does. God's New Creation does. Or I go back. I say God's New Creation.
Yeah.
Back to the OG.
Yeah.
those were good times, guys, for a lot of different reasons, but certainly because, again, the impact that that both of these groups had on our immediate societies and even beyond, right, through the records that we're able to get out to the world, I think is undeniable and will last for years to come. So I think it's something that, God gets the glory for, and hopefully will continue to inspire other young artists out there.
Yeah, we might have to put together a documentary of the original, like where Christian hip hop really started, because I feel like that's a piece that, like, as we're talking about right now, that's been lost. It's been lost. I mean, if we consider ourselves second or third generation, and we're forgotten about, I mean, think about the guys that came before us that influenced us.
And then we got to give Illustrate an honorable mention. Honorable mention.
Yep. Let's go, Illustrate. If you're listening, Justin, come on.
Still doing work.
He is. He's still.
Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember that other group? They were floating around down in the Denver area called WFC. Is that right?
Yeah.
Maybe
Warriors for Christ.
Christ or something.
Yes.
Warriors for Christ.
Yeah.
Was that it?
I just saw on social media a couple days ago, one of their guys passed away. He was our age, and it just reminded me of mortality, right? It reminded me that
Albert.
Yeah, man, it's so sad. So shout out to them, prayers and thoughts to the family. But I think Colorado was a thriving scene, right, for gospel music, and I think the six of us that are here today had a lot to do with that. And that's an honor.
That was what Stevie, Ish, and Alberto and Albert.
Yeah,
three in that.
Yep.
Yeah. Love it, man. Love it. Taking it way back. I mean, I'm sure we're like Tony and his cousin Unity.
Kiko, his cousin.
Kiko.
Remember Kiko?
Oh man,
Kiko.
So
that's why we talk like this.
Yeah. Seriously, that's where it was not Napoleon Dynamite. It was Kiko that started that one.
Yeah.
I appreciate how professional we want it to be, right? We want it to be above and beyond. We want it to be the best. We wanted to have the loudest sound. We wanted to be, we wanted to represent what we were doing well. I think that's what I think set all of us, both of our groups apart in the interim of what we were doing. We just wanted to be top notch.
Yeah. We wanted to represent because we wanted to show what the potential of that serving Christ had,
Well, and I don't know if you guys felt like this, but I feel like Christian, like hip hop, Christian music in generally had a sound to it. And
back then.
Yeah.
Right?
And I don't feel like we were that sound. We just wanted to sound like something original, something that, we didn't have to be like the secular groups. We didn't have to be Christian. We were just kind of a unique, this is just who we are. 6 guys from Carmer City that just want to represent in a way that we knew how. And like you said, it was, I believe it was impactful for a lot of groups to want to do it also.
Yeah, back in the early 90s, Christian music was kind of made fun of because it was just a copycat of whatever else was popular.
Yeah.
It would just copy the styles, the techniques, the arrangements and all of the above. And to your point, V, everybody's influenced by somebody, obviously, but we did it in our way. We did it in our way. Like we would take a PM Dawn and DC Talk merger and then find some kind of, Biggie Smalls type of vibe, and throw all that together in some kind of a melodic hip hop. I think we even coined that phrase, melodic hip hop, for what we did as GNC and later Candle. So I love that you brought that up too, V.
Yeah. So what's everybody doing nowadays? What's I know, well, we know what Age is doing. We know what his old man hobby is right now, but what is everybody doing? And I think our hobby is something we did just on Saturday, the 4 of us, old man hobby. But We
I
know
wish I
Did
what
we
you were in
decide,
town,
was
bro.
that a tie? Did we decide, is that a tie, or did we give that to them, Vince?
We're talking about golf, everybody.
talking
Yeah,
about golf.
No,
Yeah.
we took it.
I've never golfed. I've hit golf balls into
Aqua golf.
Aqua golf. or
Yeah, I've done
Top
that.
golf?
I've played putt-putt. I've done top. Yeah, never played golf.
So if anybody, we're talking about golf, and the four of us went and played golf, and it was a tiebreaker for like it was a rematch tiebreaker of what the
The
previous
third game, the third installment. Yeah.
And I happened to give Lebo and Joe a shot because
We did.
when I
It
say
was
shot,
a gift.
it was
Don't
a
make that
gift.
face.
Gave us
It
a
was a total
shot.
gift, dude.
Yeah,
It's a
whatever you
total
want to
gift.
call it, a shot, a
Well,
stroke.
explain it.
They say a stroke in golf because Lebo hit the ball down the fairway, but this course we played was tough, and there was patches all over the courses that were thicker like grass, and his ball went into one of those thick parts of the grass that he thought was in the fairway, and he was like,
Thought.
I can't find my ball because it was right in the fairway. But generally, if
Because
your
you
ball
didn't
goes in
find
the
it. You
fairway,
didn't find your ball.
if the ball goes in the fairway, you could see it, right? Because the
Yeah,
grass is short.
typically.
But he couldn't find his ball, so he's like, "Well, it was about right here, so I'm just gonna say the ball is gonna be right here." Am I
No,
lying?
dude.
So the
Am
ball
I
was
lying?
in the fairway. It must have landed in the sprinkler hole.
Did you
It
use
must
your
have landed
original
in-
ball?
Bro, are you a preacher? Because you totally manipulated that story, bro.
Yeah, bro. I was in the
The heck?
fairway.
I did not. Are you kidding me? Dude, you
No,
guys
dude.
didn't find the
Yeah,
ball.
all right. Well, then, do we want to talk about the episode of the what did you say earlier, dude? The indigenous giving?
Dude,
Because
No.
if you remember, I was like, it was like a, what was it, Joe? It was like maybe like a 10-foot putt. I putted it and it was short. And then Vince even said, then he's like, I was like, you gonna give it to me? And he's
No.
like, yeah, I'll give it to you.
No,
So then I
the
picked up
one
my
that was like
ball.
2
No,
inches
he
away
said,
from the
Joe,
hole.
he said, I'll give it to you because
I was under the impression that since it was such a great shot and it was like right on the rim, oh,
Yeah.
dude, you got it. Just
And he's
take
like,
it. You
it's
got it.
within this much, so I'm gonna give it to you.
No,
So
but it
I
was
took
like-
the point.
Dude, I'm giving
It
you
was
the
this
little
far.
putt that was this short.
No, it was less than that. I mean,
No,
it was a
dude.
long putt. He got it right up to the rim.
Yeah,
And you
and
just
I was like,
dude, that
I'll
was so
give you that.
cool.
Hey, let's just
Yeah.
clarify though. But let's just clarify. I asked you before I picked up my ball and put down a marker or anything else. I asked you, are you going to give that to me? And then you said yes. So did you
Oh
give
my
me 2
God.
points? So now all of a sudden you give me 2 points yourself.
No, you didn't even ask him. He just said it because it was such a great long
Yeah,
putt.
I didn't even ask.
Because
He
Any-
just said, oh, that was so
any-
good.
anybody who I've played golf with, they're like, well, that's a gimme putt. And so you give that person that putt if it's within the handle of the golf of your putter. You give them that putt. That's a gentleman thing to do. Not
But
give
you
them a
didn't say
putt that
gimme, you
was
just
40
said-
feet away. Why
Dude,
would
it
I
was
give
like-
you a putt that's
Bro,
40
I was
feet
40
away?
feet away. I get this close. And
And
then
then
you're
Yeah,
like,
for you.
oh, dude,
This
just
isn't
take it.
horseshoes.
that's a gimme.
Dude, we're not playing horseshoes, bro.
Okay. So all right. So then let's say, okay, so you gave us the point. What happened and we tied?
Yeah.
If you
But
gave us the
hey,
stroke, then we
no,
tied.
wait
If
up,
you
wait
didn't give us the stroke, we
No.
won.
No. I said that. No, not that one. I'm talking about the one where you couldn't fight in the fairway. But
That's what
at
I'm
the
talking
end,
about.
I said I knew that was going to come back to bite us, and Joe was like, "No, it's a tie. You know, I won't accept that one. It's a tie." So,
Okay.
So we got to do it again.
All right, so
We got to do
bye.
it again.
hey, you know what? Joe just said that because it's an excuse for us to get out and play again.
1,000%.
There's nothing
1,000%.
better than playing.
And I
with
didn't
you
want
guys.
you
There
to
you
go
go.
home
Yeah,
crying.
it was definitely a tie.
And now the
Absolutely.
people in the world know
I-
what old men
I
do.
wouldn't-
They
I
argue
wouldn't-
over things.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to
Exactly,
play with
Age.
anybody else, even though you're a cheater.
Oh my God.
Sounds
That's what
fun.
makes it fun.
Definite
So
tie.
Flo,
Anyway.
Flo, what is the hobby of since we know Age is always on his bike, how about you?
I do a radio show. I'm a radio DJ on Sundays.
Well,
Oh,
you look like a
nice.
radio DJ, like you got the spot, everything. You're ready to go.
Wait, hold up. Usually when they say you have a face for radio, that is not a good thing.
It's
It just told you that.
exactly.
You said you look like you do a radio. That I don't know how to
got
take
it.
that.
I was just letting it.
You just let it flow.
I'm gonna say
That's
that you
up,
have
man.
the setup. You look like you have the
Yeah, you
amazing.
look like
setup.
I was putting in my mind that that's what a radio DJ looks like.
Yeah.
So I got all this amazing setup, and then it goes to audio only. But yeah, so Sky Blue Radio. I do it Sunday nights, 6 p.m. That's Mountain Time.
It's a live radio show
It's
on
a
like
live radio
FM
show,
radio?
live streamed.
live
Sky-
stream or like FM radio.
It's a internet radio show.
Oh, internet
or
radio.
station.
Okay.
So tell us about it.
The
What kind of
station has been
music? What do you
around.
do?
So the station, I'll do a little background on the station. Station's been around for. They just celebrated their. Now I'm going to get in trouble.
15.
Our 21st year,
21st.
I believe we're an adult
Okay.
now. Maybe 18th year. So it started off, my buddy Jeff Turner, he owns it, runs it, and it really started off as a people who play computer games, flight simulators. It gave them music and something to tune into while they're playing their video game, to listen to music while they're flying their airplane virtually. And it sort of just took off in that community. It took off from there, and it's I mean, I don't have numbers, but it's a worldwide attraction, and it's got thousands of listeners throughout the week.
Nice.
At any given time. And so my buddy Jeff, I met him at church, and it is a secular radio station, but he gave me a 2-hour spot on Sundays, and I do Christian hip hop. I just play all the latest, greatest, old school, whatever,
Nice.
all Christian hip hop, and just bring that on Sunday nights. And
Now, do
it's
you
a
play
blast.
the stuff that we were just talking about, like the way back, or is that even available to stream at this point?
Oh yeah, yep,
Do you
Okay.
play? So do you play GNC?
I have, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, dude,
Nice.
where's our royalties?
Candle.
You got to talk to ASCAP or BMI or whatever you're.
Talk to
I'm
Little
just-
Rascal.
I'm just joking, man. I'm so glad that you do play. That's awesome, man.
Actually, you got to talk to Grape Tree about that.
yeah.
More than likely.
Oh man,
It's all looped around.
Right on.
Yeah, so it's a blast. I've been doing it since maybe late 2019. Actually, probably on the air is 2020.
Okay.
So
wow.
Describe to us like what a typical 2 hours is. Like, is it like a block of songs, and then you talk, or do you talk between each song, or do you have guests? Like, what is it? What is it like?
all of the above.
Okay.
There's really no strict format or rhyme or reason to it. I get together a playlist, and I'll talk between songs. I'll talk. I've had Chili Baby on there. I've had Illustrate on there. I've had my brother on there. Done live interviews. Different people. Just I've went to concerts, interviewed people, and played the interview
Nice.
on the air and stuff. So it's been really a cool little, I guess, hobby.
Nice.
Our
thing
invite
to
probably
do.
got lost in the mail. That's why.
Yeah,
no
I
one
was
had
gonna
us.
say that. Like,
Yeah.
I did. This is the first I've heard that
I
guests were
know,
allowed.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that, golfing invitation so I can interview you guys while we golf.
Oh, okay. Hey guys, I want you guys to continue. I got to get going, but Age and Flo, man, so glad you guys were on the episode. And the other three, I'll see you guys later.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
man.
you guys
Yeah, man.
keep continue
Good to see you,
talking.
Vince. Yeah.
I gotta go. Appreciate
All
you
right,
guys.
brother.
All right.
All right,
Later.
man. Later.
Cool. No, he had told us he had to hop off a little bit earlier. This is a little bit earlier than he said he had to hop off. So maybe,
Sucker.
Just going to
Little
get
bit.
spaghetti or something. I heard. I don't know.
spaghetti. Nice. Yeah, no, he's got some kind of business dinner, something like that for his job. That's super cool, man. I
Real
love that.
quick, all the live radio shows are recorded. So there's a handful of live DJs that do their shows. They get recorded and they get put out on podcasts. So you can find that podcast anywhere you get podcasts. Sky Blue Radio.
Well, be sure and give us that URL so we can include it in the description of this episode so people can find your show.
Okay,
Love that.
definitely.
Sky Blue Radio, brought to you by Flow.
Obviously, Sunday nights is when I do mine.
Yeah.
DJ if you
Horn.
like most of the stuff they play is like 60s, 70s, but they play everything. So,
Nice.
So when you talk on the radio, do you have like a
Radio
thank
voice?
you for dialing in to Flow Radio, or do you have like a traditional
Or is it
DJ
just
voice?
flow?
Welcome to. What does your voice sound like on the air?
you tell me. Have you heard it?
Why don't you give us
No,
a
I haven't.
sample,
I didn't
Flo?
even know it existed, man.
Why you put me on the
Didn't even
spot?
get-
homie?
You put me on it. No.
I'm trying
What's
to
up,
give you
y'all?
some
This is
airtime
OG
here.
Flow. You're listening to Sky Blue Radio on skyblueradio.com, where we are sounding great at
Okay,
any
all
altitude. Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay.
We're sounding good in any altitude. I love that little hook, man.
Yep.
That's sick, bro.
We're tuning in
I
on
have
Sunday
listened
night.
to it, but it was only like every time I've listened is while you're playing music. So I haven't heard like you in between or whatever like that. So it's
Right.
pretty cool. I like it. It's like you were built for it, man.
Do you ever do one of those like this one goes out to Hector shouting out from his Heine Stephanie over in Cumberland.
Yeah, I've done stuff like that.
That's funny, dude.
Here,
This
I'll
one
upload
goes
a
out
little-
to Hector.
So I did upload a little picture earlier just to show people what we used to look like when we were talking about how we looked back then.
When you were preachers in the hood,
Yep.
OG style.
They still are
Man,
preachers in the hood.
I just want to say, good thing that age. Good thing you went to preachers in the hood, man. Because me and you was acting crazy back in the day, bro.
Oh man,
I could look
Yeah,
up some photos and
I
shit.
think I have some
I've
crazy.
heard
Yeah, we
stories.
got crazy stories.
I uploaded one on the thing. If you want to look at that, Joe.
Oh, okay.
On the WhatsApp.
Yeah,
I
thank
don't know.
goodness you both turned to the light side,
Statute of
man.
limitation is okay though now, but yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, look at that. Let's
Dang.
go. Let's go.
OG gangster, huh?
Look at
That's
that.
sick, man.
You guys were
Crazy.
squeaky clean. Look at those baby faces.
I know. Jeez.
Age was looking at something else, and then Flo was looking at the camera. Not really sure what happened on that one.
I think the guy was being rude to somebody in the back.
There you go. It was doing the defensive stuff.
rude.
You're rude.
I just uploaded a little clip of me on
He's
the
got
radio
the
show.
Ben Davis.
All right, here we go.
Ben Davis in the.
My favorite song, man. That's the thing's hitting.
Did you actually play this?
Yeah, this is a recording of what went out live.
Yeah.
That was The Future by the Homies, God's new creation. It was cool to see them today. Got to hang out with them for a little bit at Lebo's birthday party. They are the Kings of Monaco now on YouTube. Check them out. This is Sky Blue Radio's 18th birthday party.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, always sipping Arnold Palmer, never sipping Jaeger. Keep it regal.
Nice, dude.
Bro, that's sick,
Yeah, that's pretty legit,
man.
bro.
That's really good.
So yeah, my bad. I misspoke. It is the 18th birthday party. I
18th
said
birthday
20th.
party,
Yeah.
Shout to Sky Blue Radio for 18th birthday party. We
Shout
gotta get that in
out.
for them too.
Let's go.
I'm always about the shameless plugs, bro. We got JA Cycle over there. We got Live Lead Legacy down there. You see
got it
Vince,
right.
he was here representing on
You got it right, homie.
NXT. I'm always down for the shameless plugs, man. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe Kings of Monaco on YouTube and Spotify as well. I gotta get those shameless
And watch out for that homie Age on the road. Don't be running them over.
Yeah,
That's a
so
little
good.
little nuts out here. We actually
Hey.
Miss OG Flo is curious. She wanted to see
go.
what was going on here.
for sure.
Heck yeah.
What
Miss OG.
to see you.
That's awesome.
so do
I
you
love
ride
it.
with a motorcycle club right now, Age, or what do you got going on?
Yeah, it's called Black Sheep. It's a motorcycle ministry. We got cuts and we got labels and all that stuff. You know, I'm the San Diego chapter president. So when I got
Let's go.
when I moved to San Diego, I started the San Diego chapter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So when I first moved to California, I moved into San Jose, I was part of this
way
organization.
north.
Yeah, way north. So I was part of this organization while I was helping Oakland, California. I was the chapter president for our Oakland chapter.
Oh, goodness.
Dang.
Yeah,
That's
Too
wild.
short over there.
war zone over there, man. You know,
Wow.
That is a straight up war zone, dude.
especially on the bike.
Who else? Quick hip hop quiz. Who else is from Oakland?
For who?
Too short. Who
E40,
else?
Telly Cell,
E40,
Rich,
MC Hammer.
Lil Richie, MC Hammer.
I
All
think
them, dude.
Mac
A lot
Mall,
of Bay Area
Lecrae, all the-
rappers, man.
That leads us into this next. That actually leads us into Tape Wars, dude. If you want to hit that real quick, I don't know if you guys got time.
Let's go.
Yeah, I got a little time.
We'll set it up a little bit. Basically, back in the day, we had there you go.
I don't want to get you guys demonetized or
No, we're good.
playing too much music.
We back in the day when we were kids, we had cassette tapes, and we'd be able to like pause the cassette right on point, and then you can start the song right on point, because that's just how it worked back then. Well, we used to play this game where we would like just think of some like we would have a tape, we'd have the song loaded up, we'd be ready to go, we'd hit play, and when we hit play, the song would finish what we were saying in the context. So, for example, we would say, "Nah, dude, I can't hang out with you tonight because you get me in trouble, and the last time I did that." And then you would hit the button, and then it would like be LL Cool J saying, "Mama said knock you out," like something like that. Does that make sense?
So it was a bad illustration, but yeah.
Bad illustration, but whatever. This is the Gen Z version of it.
I mean, it fell flat, but we get what you're saying. Just kidding.
Okay.
No, it was fun. No, it was fun. It was fun. Yeah. And where did we get that from? Basically, we'd have diss wars, right?
Yeah,
later. Yeah. And later, like MTV had like your mama shows and like all this stuff. Like, I feel like we did another original thing there, or did we get that from somebody? Like,
we did it.
We created that, did we not?
Made
like,
it up.
Tape Wars.
We're just bored.
Age of Flow. Did you guys ever do that? Did you ever do Tape Wars at all?
We never did Tape Wars, no. But I'm wondering if that ever kind of led into what they had to follow that, which was battle rapping. You know?
Yeah, it's like battle rapping, but like you're basically letting the rapper start with the song when you hit play, right? Like that type of thing. So creating it, not creating it. We did it out of boredom.
Yeah. So there was
it was like DJing. It was like DJing with a cassette, right? Like that's what it was when you really boil it down.
Well, what do they do now on TikTok? They just they move their mouth to something, to some piece of a song or a saying. It's kind of the same thing, it's like so
definitely.
But
all right, so here's the new version of Tape Wars. All right, I'm gonna say some words, and then you guys are gonna continue the rap, basically. Okay.
Oh,
do it.
Or you're gonna guess what it is that I'm trying to go with here.
Let's go.
So, all right, here we go. The first one is, what magazine did Notorious B.I.G. read?
The Source.
No.
Oh.
No.
What magazine did the Notorious B.I.G. read? Come on.
Now, to be fair, Lebo, are you doing like lyric stuff, or are you just asking us pop quiz culture?
Asking you the pop quiz culture / you may know the words to the song, and you can continue it however you wanted it. What magazine did the Notorious B.I.G. read? And I think when you do the first one, you're going to get the next one. It's going to be a little bit easier.
Well, we could ask Gronk or
no. Okay, I got you. You want me to tell you what it is?
Yeah.
Right.
What is it?
I used to read Word Up magazine.
Yep.
Yeah.
I knew it was in that.
Right.
I knew it was in that song, and I couldn't think of it.
Okay.
So you're confusing me now because I asked if it was a quiz or if it was a part of a song. It's a part of a song.
Bro, you got to get with me.
But it was a quiz.
Are we doing this or what? It's part of a song. These are all
okay.
In a song.
Part of a okay.
It's part of a song
Tape
quiz.
Wars, you're going to continue. Once we end, you start with the lyric and the song, and you keep going, and it's all flowing.
Let's go.
Okay. All right. Here's the next one. What was wrong with Eminem's palms?
Palms are sweaty, son.
And spaghetti, mom's spaghetti. Yeah.
Spaghetti.
My arms are heavy. There we go. All right.
Okay.
What was wrong with Lebo's palms? Palms are hairy.
Oh my God.
All right, here we go. You want to keep going, or is this not
Yeah,
going?
let's keep going. Keep going.
All right, here we go. I got a few more. All right, okay. This one's it's you continue the lyrics, or you tell me what it is, but I'm going to tell you the description. Okay. Where did Sir Mix-a-Lot's groupies want
My
to?
posse's on Broadway.
Taco Bell
but
for
where
some
did
Mexican eating, but Taco Bell was closed. The girls was on my tip. They said, "Go back to your way. We'll stop and eat at Dick's."
Stop it.
Kiss your mama with that mouth, boy.
Man, come on.
Okay, but Flo got it. He got what's going on here.
See, he wasn't lying
Kiss your
that he knew
mama
all
with
this
that mouth,
stuff.
boy.
Yeah, see, that was back in that era.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Sell bet $5 on a game. This one's hard. Sell bet $5 on a game.
Nope. Ain't got nothing.
Madden 95 on Sega. Remember?
Nope.
Nothing.
That's too underground, bro.
All right, 2 underground. All right, okay.
Sally sells,
All right.
sells by the sea.
This one is that. If that was 2 underground, this one is definitely mainstream. If you guys don't get this one, you're not even nowhere near rap hip hop. I'm just gonna disqualify all y'all on this one. Okay. All right. What street did Warren G hook a left on?
Oh, dude.
Age, come on, dog. You got this one.
Man.
What street did Warren G
Crenshaw.
hook a
Was it
left
Crenshaw?
on?
2-1 and Lewis. Brother shooting
2-1
guys,
and
so
Lewis.
said,
There you
let's
go.
do this.
Well, hooks to the left on 2-1 and Lewis.
Googling it, dude. He's asking ChatGPT.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Charlie, man. I just know this.
I almost had to disqualify you guys. You got that one, dude. All right, cool. 2 more. All right, here we go. Which blimp said Ice Cube's a pimp?
Ice Cube's a pimp.
The lights of the Goodyear blimp. And it
Goodyear
read Ice
blimp.
Cube's a pimp.
Good.
Who was born and
Yeah,
raised in
okay.
Philadelphia?
Oh,
DJ
That's
Jazzy
keep
Jeff and the
your
Fresh
keep your
Prince.
my wife's
Kevin
name
Hart.
out your mouth.
All right.
Exactly.
All right, I got 2 more. I got 2 more. One, you guys better know the answer. The other, this is deep. This might be a deep cut for you guys. All right. The deep cut one is, what size was DJ Quick's gray sweatsuit with burgundy trim?
Ooh. DJ Quick, bro.
DJ Quick's gray sweatsuit with burgundy trim.
Hmm.
I didn't listen to DJ
Oh,
Quick.
no, that one.
It was probably red.
No, it was no. What size was
what
DJ
size?
Quick's gray sweatsuit with burgundy trim? It was medium. Don't you guys remember that?
Flo said it. Flo said his gray sweatsuit was probably
It was
red.
red. Yeah, I know. I got that after he said this gray one.
His gray suit was red.
His gray suit was
That would be
medium, bro.
that would be
Extra
Santa.
medium. Extra medium. All right. Check it out.
I didn't listen
What?
to him because he dissed Denver.
What's Too Short's favorite word?
Okay.
All right, cool. That was my Tape Wars Gen Z version.
I like it.
That was
I like
tight,
it.
bro.
That's
That
a
was
cool
tight.
little segment, man. That's a cool little segment.
That was cool.
Next time
Joe
will
would
be
have been
next
more
time-
on it.
I mean,
Joe would have been more on it if you had more Bon Jovi lyrics in there.
You know,
Yeah, I needed to get some rock stuff in there.
yeah. We'll do different
Some
segments.
rock-
We'll do different
some rock
segments. Yeah, for sure.
all right. Yeah, that's probably where I wouldn't shine.
Yeah, Flo picked it up, dude. I think you got 3, Flo. I think you
Yeah,
got 3.
you
Good job.
saved us, bro. Or else we would have been
Saved
like,
y'all. You almost got your
everybody
ass
would have
off.
thought we were lying about growing
I
up the
think
way
we
we
would just
did. on
cut
this
the
year.
segment out.
Yeah, we just cut it. But
Okay, so I have a question for all you guys, and Vince doesn't have a say in this because he decided to be a buster. All right. Are we doing a reunion concert anytime soon or not?
We haven't asked that question yet.
Just
until
Just
now.
say yes.
Hmm.
You guys need to do a reunion concert. You guys need to do something. You need to do a song.
No,
Maybe-
all of
maybe
us.
one
You
song.
too, not just us.
Yeah, we'll do it. I'm down.
What venue would we do it at? What venue would we do it at? I'll tell you what venue I've always wanted to play and we never did was the Arvada Arts Center, the amphitheater over there. You guys remember that one?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That would be a
We
cool
never.
venue.
I thought we played there. I could have swore we played there before.
Oh, maybe that was when I was addicted to cocaine and I don't remember.
That's a great segment. Let's clip that.
Yeah. There goes your demonetization again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
He was addicted to.
What? That
Is
sounds,
this kid friendly? Is this
that
clean?
sounds even worse.
Check, uncheck. All right.
No, we should do it. We should do one. I think that would be awesome. That would be a blast.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
I take
Get you
too
guys
much
searched.
melatonin, I dream about that.
We'll get you guys searched for old time's sake.
That'd be sick.
Cool.
Yeah, you threw a curveball with that one, man. We got to figure that out.
They wouldn't let me in then.
Yeah.
Man,
but
you
it's been
guys need
real.
some caffeine. You guys are like falling asleep over there, man.
Well, I'm ready. What are you talking about?
We're an hour and a half in. That's why. This
Oh,
is
that
usually
was
the
okay.
cutoff point.
I
This
could
is
do this
usually
all
where we
night.
start like.
All right,
Yeah.
My
man.
eyes always look like this, bro. What are you talking about? They're always puffy.
Oh, man.
All right, fellas.
Yep.
It was great catching up with y'all. Amazing.
Was there any more topics? Is that it?
That was it, because we
that was
really
it.
wanted to, like, that whole front end is what we really wanted to get,
Yeah.
in, which is super cool. But we definitely have to keep doing this, several episodes, in my opinion, because there's just too much to talk about. Like everything that we
Yeah.
started saying, like dug up another memory, another story,
it could just
another
go
like,
and go.
yeah. So, but what's cool, and maybe we could end it on this, like God obviously has created leaders out of all of us, in our own way and what we do and what we are doing today. We're leading businesses, we're leading, people at work, we're leading, wherever we're at, starting podcasts, starting, radio stations and whatever. Like we all have something that God has given us to lead, and we do it proudly, and although it's very much different than how we grew up, I could, say this without, asking y'all to say it. I mean, we were built a certain way, and God raised us up to lead things, to start chapters, to start businesses, to lead, groups, to go with radio stations and start cycling channels and start podcasts. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that while we're talking about so much of the rich history, we're still creating things today for people to follow and be blessed by.
Right.
A lot of wealth in this group,
Yeah, for sure. It's an honor, fellas.
Yeah, and let me, before we dial off here, let me just take a quick moment to give a shout out to Mr. Arthur Sandoval as well, the late father of our dear friends here. Like your dad, Joe, Mr. Sandoval was a rock. He was an incredible well of wisdom that would pour into us every chance he got. And I learned a lot of incredible lessons just on long trips on the road, hearing him talk about the word and about his love for ministry and about his love for God's people. So want to just take a moment to recognize his greatness and in the legacy that he left with these two men. So honored to be your friend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shout out for sure. Love it, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, this won't be the last for sure. Won't be the last.
Definitely.
Thank
Well,
y'all.
I appreciate
Everybody
you
out
guys
there.
having us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Everybody out there listening, thank you so much for checking this out. Y'all know the deal. Lebo said to like, subscribe, support.
It's free.
comment,
share. Just hit that button right now. It's
Just hit it.
free. You don't have
Come
to
on.
pay for it or anything.
Yep. Good
And it
stuff.
helps out the channel big time.
Yes.
That's right.
All right.
Peace out.
Peace.